Well, back to the latest on what the governor has been calling a politically motivated assassination of Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, along with the attempted assassination of State Senator John Hortman and his wife Yvette. As we mentioned, the manhunt is still going on now, more than 24 hours after this horrible tragedy. But we do have a bit of a positive update to share with you this morning. Family of Senator John Hortman and his wife Yvette tell us overnight that Yvette is now awake and alert. We are very happy to report that after we learned yesterday from law enforcement that the Hoffmans were shot multiple times. In fact, a man named Matt Oleg, who is apparently the Hoffmans' nephew, sharing a post on Facebook. He says Yvette saved her daughter's life yesterday by throwing her body over her child and using herself as a human shield. The nephew says Senator Hortman was shot half a dozen times and Yvette was shot 5 times. The couple was rushed to the hospital and right into surgery. They are both out of that surgery and expected to survive. Now, the parent-teacher organization at Fernbrook Elementary has started a GoFundMe for the Hoffmans. Yvette works as a support professional at the Maple Grove Elementary School. The PTO says she brings, quote, joy, compassion, and unwavering support to our students, staff, and families every single day. The fundraiser is closing in now on about $12,000. Their goal with money going to support and help the Hoffmans pay for medical expenses, rehabilitation costs, and home security enhancements that they may need.
Yeah, we got to talk about this entire situation. I was going to talk about it yesterday, but there was still, new information coming out. So decided to wait, until more information came out. Now, to get you guys up to speed a little bit, and you kind of heard some of it there. Long story short, the guy pine boxed a couple of folks and attempted to 2 other people, but thankfully the 2 others that he attempted to are out of surgery and seem like they're going to survive. Everything's going to be all right. But the guy's still out there. He's still on the loose, still roaming the streets, which I have more to say about that. But let's get into what Tim Waltz had to say immediately. This was literally the first clip that I saw on this entire situation yesterday. Check it out.
We're here today because an unspeakable tragedy has unfolded in Minnesota. My good friend and colleague, Speaker Melissa and her husband Mark, were shot and killed early this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination. Our state lost a great leader, and I lost a dearest of friends. Speaker Hortman was someone who served the people of Minnesota with grace, compassion, humor, and a sense of service. She was a formidable public servant, a fixture and a giant in Minnesota. She woke up every day determined to make this state a better place. She is irreplaceable, and we've been missed by so many. Minnesota's thoughts and prayers are with her family, her loved ones, her children, and her parents. My prayers.
So obviously, and I don't know if you guys caught it, but he said politically motivated, and that was sticking in my mind. But shortly after, and I'm glad I waited to talk about this, to report on this, because if I would have reported on it then, I wouldn't have had all the information that I have today. And the interesting clip that I'm going to show you a little bit later on in the video that I want you guys to take a real close listen to. But shortly after that clip, this started circulating. And apparently this was in the back seat of the suspect's car. No kings. Interesting, huh? Very, very interesting, if I do say so myself. But I'll let you guys hear it from CNN.
Well, the car is a treasure trove of clues and potential clues, not just forensically, but things in plain sight. What we're told from law enforcement sources briefed on the investigation is that there are a cache of additional weapons inside that car, indicating that the suspect was loaded for additional targets, possible confrontations with law enforcement or security, a large amount of ammunition. In an ammunition bag, they found a Father's Day card, presumably addressed to the suspect. But there is also this manifesto which lays out his issues, and on top of that, a very, very long list of names, approximately 70 names. This includes numerous state legislators from Minnesota, but it also includes other elected officials, a couple of mayors, It includes other places in Minnesota, including medical clinics, abortion providers, pro-life advocates, and it includes some locations and individuals from out of state. What does that tell us? It poses the question of what was the ultimate game plan? Was it to continue to get through this list, to go as far down with as many attacks or assassinations as possible until he was stopped by police? What we know now is that at his first location, he did his first attack in the pre-dawn hours of the morning in the darkness, that preemptively police went to the second location where the nearest other elected state official was and ran straight into the suspect. The Brooklyn Park, Minnesota police exchanged shots with the individual, which caused him to flee towards the house and then into the darkness. But that also made him leave that car, all of that evidence, and potentially part of his plan behind.
So you heard him say that the police went to the closest, the nearest representative's house. Not who was next on the so-called list, right? Because I have something to say about the list. But the closest home of the next representative. And that's where they ran. That's where police actually ran into the guy and exchanged rounds. And he fled out the back door, which is how he is still on the loose. But I found it interesting that, you know, they mentioned, oh, yeah, he was going to go after abortion clinics, you know, trying to make it seem, I almost feel like they're trying to make it seem as if he was some kind of Republican or something. But in reality, this guy, okay, let me just put it like this. He was hired by Tim Waltz, appointed by Tim Waltz. Here it is. Tim Waltz, governor. Notice of appointment, Vance Bolter, who is the gentleman in question, the guy who committed these atrocities, right there. Appointed by old Timmy Tim. You think a Republican's going to be working under Tim? Doubt it. You think Tim's going to appoint a Republican? Doubt it. Just saying. I could be wrong. He obviously has a reward, $50,000. So if you know his whereabouts, you could collect a nice check. For sure. I could use $50,000. That's for sure. But I also want to play this clip of the Democrat in question, because she was a Democrat, but she recently voted against a bill that would allow illegals to have health care. She voted with the Republicans. This happened recently. And take a look at what's going on here. She almost looks like just watch it.
I know that people will be hurt by that vote, and we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal that wouldn't include that provision.
DFL Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman emotional following the House's adjournment from a special session Monday. Hortman was the lone DFL lawmaker to cast a vote to cut Minnesota Care access for undocumented immigrants. It's a move she made with a heavy heart.
I did what leaders do. I stepped up and I got the job done for the people of Minnesota.
The bill was deeply unpopular with members of the DFL caucus. Members have repeatedly expressed frustration that the bill was part of a compromise, one that would ensure the necessary GOP votes to pass the rest of the state budget.
We are tremendously disappointed and gut-wrenched at this decision, at this compromise that compromises our communities that are most vulnerable.
Hortman knows she let down her own caucus members with the vote.
The right to be...
Kind of interesting how, right after siding with Republicans, what happened. Kind of interesting. But the guy is allegedly a Republican according to mainstream media. Right. I'm not buying that for a second. Now, I want to get to this clip here because this clip is, explosive. Now, what I'm about to show you is allegedly the roommate of Mr. Vance Bolter. Now, allegedly, the story is, the FBI went into this man's house, kicked down his door, the whole nine, and he came outside and he spoke to reporters. And if we have anyone that's familiar with law enforcement or has any better knowledge of law enforcement, I want you to let me know what you think about this video, and everyone else, obviously. But considering the fact that FBI allegedly kicked down this man's door, okay, in search of Mr. Vance, because this is allegedly where he lived and this is his roommate, and you can kind of see pieces of the door laying on the floor, laying on the ground behind him. Let me know, does anything catch your eye or ear?
What he was thinking.
Okay, can I? Yeah.
He was, David and Ron, I love you guys. I made some choices, and you guys don't know anything about this, but I'm going to be gone for a while. Sorry. Maybe dead shortly. So I just want to let you know that I love you guys both, and I wish it hadn't gone this way. I don't want to say anything more and implicate you in any way, because you guys don't know anything about this. But I love you guys, and I'm sorry for all the trouble this has caused.
Who was the other recipient?
Ron Ramsey. It's another friend. He doesn't live in the state, but
Got it.
yeah, he's gonna move up here.
So you two were his two best friends?
Yeah.
Is there possible to take a photo of your phone screen?
Yeah, I just don't want Jenny seeing it splashed on the.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't run it big, but I mean, just
Yeah,
really
it's alright.
helpful.
I read it. That's
Okay, that's
more
fine.
than
No,
I
totally fine.
want.
What
Totally
time was
okay.
that?
Totally okay.
What time was that text?
I think it was 6:17.
A.M.
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just got over here. What did the text say?
Judy missed it. I can't read it again. It takes too much out of me. But yeah, I mean, well, you understand the text. I mean, he was a loving, caring guy. You know, loved his family, loved his friends, and loved God. And I don't know why he did what he did. It's just, it's not Vance. No one will believe this. No one that grew up. He had lots of friends, trust me. I wish I could have been there. Stop him.
You guys notice anything? Now, I'm not claiming to know any insider information or anything like that. I'm not saying the guy's guilty of anything, because obviously I don't know, and you're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But to me, and to me personally, that looked fake. Case one. If the FBI raided your home, kicked in your door, which in the video, it looked like, there was a part of the door laying on the ground behind him, as you can see right there on your screen, okay? If they broke down your door, and even at the end, you could see it looked like the front window was broken open. Where was that? I think the camera turns at one point. Maybe it was, I could have swore I saw there was a open window like to the right of him, or to his left, but to our right. Yeah, there it is. It looks like that window is broken open. Yeah, there's like no glass there. So, to anyone that's more familiar with law enforcement and how things like all of this work, if the FBI raided your home, would they let you keep your phone? Especially a phone that allegedly had a text from the person that they're looking for. That just doesn't sound right to me, It sounds fake. That's just my personal opinion. All right, just my personal opinion. I don't have any evidence behind that. But when he was reading off the text, he said something twice that caught my ear. And I'm going to play the first one where you said it.
David and Ron, I love you. David and Ron, I love you guys. I made some choices, and you guys don't know anything about this.
You guys don't know anything about this. He said that twice. So you mean to tell me a guy says you guys don't know anything about this twice in a text? I don't know. It just doesn't sound right to me. It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right. And then when he gets asked what time, that seemed weird. Like he was like, as if he was kind of stalling to try to make up a time. And then when he got asked for the screenshot, hey, can you screenshot that for us? I don't know. That got a bit weird. Listen, I personally think he knows a lot more than what he's leading on. That's just my own personal opinion. I don't have any evidence to prove that. He's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But to me, that didn't seem like a guy who didn't know much. That seems staged to me. But what do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Get in the comments to talk to me. Do y'all agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Why? Why not? How do you feel about this whole situation? Honestly, I feel like Democrats are at major fault for this. Even guys like Tim Waltz, who's recently been, saying all types of crazy things. Saying, I forgot the line. Something along the lines of like basically pushing back more, right? So, when stuff like this happens, it's like, bro, think about what you've been saying, Anyway, let me know your thoughts and your opinions in the comments, man. I'm really interested to hear what y'all got to say about, especially that last clip of the roommate there. Let me know your opinions. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.